What's up, Havenites, and welcome to the Pull List. I am your host, Alan. Before we get started tonight, I just want to say today, this afternoon, whenever you're watching this, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone that has taken the time to subscribe to the channel. We just recently broke 500 subscribers. Last time I checked, I think we're actually at 502. For those of you that went the extra mile and you click subscribe, those of you that hit the like button, thank you so much. Those likes and those comments that y'all leave on the videos, they really do help smaller channels. Believe it or not, no matter what you hear, they do help us a lot. Now, if you're new, welcome. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If you like daily shorts, weekly videos, weekly live streams, you have definitely found your home for all things comic book related. But let's get right into the comic books. We had a decent week. It's not my usual haul. It was pretty, it was good. A nice little stack. We'll jump right into it. We have Night Terror's Titans, issue number 1. This was actually a very interesting issue. Oh, and if you hadn't noticed, I'm out of bags and boards again. I've committed a cardinal sin. But it was an interesting issue. It was decent. There was nothing about it that really and truly jumped out and grabbed me. Some really good artwork. The fact that the Titans are basically someone is going through and getting them back together through their different dreams and bringing them back and everything. Raven is kind of separated from, I'm assuming, is her body. There was a couple things that were kind of confusing about this particular issue. It was still decent. Do I feel like that it really and truly added to the whole Night Terror storyline? I don't think it really did that, but it was a decent issue. We got some good stuff. It tried. You realize that the ultimate nightmare is that all of them are trapped inside of Titan's tower, and basically it's a broken home. They do make it out in the end, but that's really to set up the next issue. Raven is like some type of ghost or something. It was kind of weird. But, that kind of is what it is. I'll definitely be picking up the second one to see how they go with it and see how they wrap that up. So I believe the Night Terror is only going to be like 2 issues each, except for Dawn of DC, Night Terrors, issue number 2. I believe there's going to be 3 of these. But this was another really good issue. I like what they're doing with Deadman Batman, how the Deadman is basically possessed Batman. I like what they did with Sandman in this. Sandman is a great character in this series. I'm loving the whole kind of broken eyepiece, just the way it looks, him telling the stories. To kind of give y'all an idea for those of you that are not reading it, let me kind of jump to a decent page where I'm not getting a ton of spoilers or anything. But this is kind of what the art looks like in it. But Sandman is basically telling the story of a cult that he fought when he was still alive years ago, and how they were trying to do something with dreams. They're trying to create a dream stone and everything, and they were actually trying to create the nightmare stone itself, but it kind of fell through. And Deadman realizes that Sandman really can't help him because it just wasn't, that whole ordeal that Sandman went through kind of fell through and did not work out. They kind of imploded on themselves. But Sandman and Deadman's going, he makes the offer, hey, I'll put you back to sleep, don't worry about it, we can kind of end this. But Sandman is like, nope, I'm here, I'm on the case now, you need all the help you can get, and I'm your guy. I would really like to see DC bring Sandman back, especially this version of a zombified Sandman. I think that that's a really cool concept. They could really team him up with John Constantine and stuff. I think that that would be absolutely awesome. But once again, another decent read. This was I say decent, but it was a really good read. I am looking forward to issue number 3 on this one. Next up, we have Night Terrors, Detective Comics number 1, and this one was kind of weird. The vast majority of it, actually just 98% of it, is all about Gordon going through his dream, and basically his son is there, Sorrow. This is really Gordon's nightmare, and it's kind of weird. There are like these entities that they grant some powers and some gifts to someone and turns them into this funky Batman bat thing. This one definitely got out there a little bit. Let me try to see if I can get y'all a good pic of this particular Batman that is running through Gotham City, and Gordon is basically falling apart. There we go. That's what this particular version of Batman looks like, but he's not our Batman, so to speak. But Gordon is basically... It really starts off with... The whole thing about him falling apart and breaking up does make sense. It really starts off, he's at his son's grave and everything, and he talks about how he can't fall apart. Well, now every time he does something, it's like he is falling apart. He's breaking up. This one was definitely out there. I mean, yeah, that's about all I can really say about it. It was still decent. I was kind of surprised that it was all about Gordon, but it really can't be about Batman right now because Batman is possessed by a dead man, and Batman's going through his own nightmare over in Dawn of DC Batman Night, or Night Terror's Batman. They're still, I mean, they're definitely worth picking up. Like I said before in previous episodes, I'm not reading every single one of the Night Terrors comics just because they're putting out so many of them. I'm just trying to kind of hit the highlights. So far, my two favorites, actually my three favorites out of the Night Terrors has been the quote-unquote main title, Nightwing and Wonder Woman. Did not pick up Green Lantern or any of the others. I don't know if I'll go back and read them. I really don't. I know this is going to wrap up the end of August, so I can't wait to get back to the Dawn of DC and actually see what's going on there. Next on the list, we have Tales from Nottingham, issue number 8. I was really wondering, I mean, this is a good issue, and I was really wondering where this issue was going, why we're getting this kind of weird little backstory for the Sheriff of Nottingham, for Blackthorn, until the very end of it. And I'm not going to spoil the end, but I think this is probably going to be the first two-parter, because every single one of them have been one-shots as far as the actual story is concerned. But this definitely leaves off where there'll be... It's kind of weird the way they do it. I'm going to jump to it right quick. But this story is not going to be continued until April 2024. I don't know why they're doing that. It just says the story continues in April 2024 in Nottingham 11. So maybe they're going to kind of put a couple of other things together, because this does end on a pretty major cliffhanger. It was kind of cool seeing the Sheriff of Nottingham off on his own little adventure. This is like before he becomes the Sheriff of Nottingham, and how he's actually wanted because he killed someone in a fight. And how he pretty much ran off. The way they say it is he ran off to the Crusades to get away from justice, and once he joined the Crusades, he was pretty much untouchable. So that was really good. I did enjoy that one. We're going to hold off on this one just a minute. No, we're not. We're going to jump right into it. But Tales from Nottingham, I've been really and truly enjoyed those. They've been really good. I'm not a really big proponent on a lot of spin-offs. I think that sometimes the market becomes oversaturated when we get a ton of spin-offs, but this has been one spin-off that I thoroughly support. Mad Cave has done an outstanding job with Nottingham and Tales from Nottingham. Really good stuff. Cannot recommend that enough. Both titles. Next up, and Tales from Nottingham is actually kind of nice to read when we're in a break from Nottingham. Next up on the list, from, surprise, surprise, AWA Studios, The Ribbon Queen. I had no expectations going into this. I purposely stayed away from any type of spoiler, anything that, because I'm signed up for AWA's newsletter. I follow them on Twitter. Shout out to AWA. I do keep up with AWA because AWA is one of my favorite companies out there right now. I love what they're doing with comics, but I wanted to go into this particular story with fresh eyes. No preconceived notions, nothing that I've read anywhere, and it was not anything like I thought it would be. Basically, what's going on is, if you have not read it yet, I'm about to start throwing out a lot of spoilers on this particular book, and I'll tell you why I'm throwing out a lot of spoilers here in a minute. But basically, there has been a murder, and the detective that is investigating the murder goes to her captain, I believe is what he is, and says, hey, look, this is what all's going on. This is who I think did it. Well, she thinks another cop did it, and I believe he was SWAT. And what it comes down to is he had actually saved this woman's life from a serial killer like a year beforehand, and he was stalking this woman now. The cop was, and it was almost like he felt like he deserved some type of reward from her. Nod, nod, hint, hint, wink, wink, for saving her life, and it became like a really creepy situation. Well, the police officer is kind of the detective. She's kind of going back and forth. How do I handle this? The captain is like, you need kind of calm down a little bit. We do get some backstory on the serial killer, not a ton. It's just more of a what that woman went through. We do kind of get it back and forth between the detective and the morgue, and they kind of talk about the events from the year beforehand. We're not getting a ton of backstory on that, which it's got to be coming, because it's really does the story really seems like it's going to center around what happened a year before. But basically, for lack of a better way to put it, the dirty cop shows up at a detective's apartment or house, whatever it is, and is basically, hey, look, you did some stuff, you got away with it, blah 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 blah. Kind of a twisted way of saying, you scratch mine, I'll scratch yours. Yours went away, mine can go away too. Well, but he swears he did not kill her. That was kind of the one thing, that he did not do it. She ends up going for a walk, and here comes your major spoiler. So if you have not read it and you don't want the spoiler, you can kind of fast forward in 3, 2, 1. Well, when the detective gets to the dirty cop, I'm just going to call him a dirty cop. When the detective gets to the dirty cop's house, she hears people screaming inside, and she runs inside, and she ends up, now it's kind of like it's down in the basement, and you see his family like screaming and everything. Well, he is kind of off to the side, and it's like all of his flesh is being stripped off of him in ribbons, and he's being stripped down, just all down to the muscle, everything. He's being stripped down. Well, the couple things happen. I won't spoil that. Nothing major happens, but our detective remembers seeing someone on the street, and she actually passed by the murder victim. So I love AWA. I kind of know their style. I think I know which direction this is headed in. She's either going to be some type of possessed occult queen or some crap like that. I say crap. I love that crap. Let's just be honest. Because at one point in a video that was taken, someone refers to her as Your Majesty, or she says something about Your Majesty. So this is very, very, very intriguing. To my friends out there that, we talk about these AWA books together offline, private text messages and stuff. If you did not pick up The Ribbon Queen, you need to grab this one. This one was really good, very intriguing. It definitely, Garth Ennis does a great job. I've said it before about AWA comics, and this holds true to this one too. It leaves you wanting more. The way that it ends, you're just kind of like, no, you don't do that to me without putting out the second issue immediately. This one is actually going to be of 8, so we're going to get a little bit longer story. I like when that happens. And we'll just have to definitely be keeping our eye on this one. We'll definitely be doing more reviews on it. Once again, though, definitely for the adult crowd. I want to throw that out there. That is Ribbon Queen #1. And I believe next month we have The Madness coming, so I'm looking forward to that. And I think next week we have, or in the next 2 weeks, we have Sins of the Salton Sea. I will plug some AWA books. Guys, if y'all are not reading AWA, you are missing out. Phenomenal reads. And it definitely takes you away from the whole superhero genre, which sometimes I feel like we kind of need a break for that. Next up, talking about going away from the superhero genre, we've got Mad Cave Studios, Hunt, Kill, Repeat, issue number 5. We get the story between Hermes and Medusa, and it's actually really sad. I feel like there's a little bit more of a story there that we kind of need to know. I think it'll probably come out in the next issue, but Artemis is done. I mean, Artemis is about to head to her dad, and from the sounds of it, she's all the others are gone. I think that what happened here with Hermes and Medusa, and from the way it looks, there are no gods left. It's pretty much going to come down to Artemis and Zeus now, and Artemis's son. And Artemis's son kind of reminds me of Damian Wayne a little bit, and yeah, he's kind of a weird one. He's like, father, no one's going to, or grandfather, no one's going to get to you. Blah, 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 blah. Look, son, your mama's on her way and she's about to bend you over her knee. You about to get your business handled. That's all there is to it. She's not happy. This has been a great read. Mark London's done a fantastic job with this. I've loved each and every single issue. Since I don't have bags and boards, we'll go ahead and kind of give y'all an idea of what some of the art looks like. I'll pick up bags and boards later. I don't want to hear it. Let me get to a good page. Well, I mean, all of them are good pages. That's kind of a bad way to say it. Here you go. That's kind of what our art is looking like on Hunt, Kill, Repeat. And yes, this right here is Artemis's son. Like I said, he kind of reminds me of Damian Wayne. I'm not that big a fan of Damian Wayne. Not that big a fan of this kid. Can't wait to see his mama get up in there and regulate. But looking like this is going to be the cover for issue number 6. Tell me that's not a fantastic cover. I dare you to leave me a comment and tell me that's not a fantastic looking cover. Hush Child, it's a fantastic looking cover. It's the bug. Yep. Next up on the list we have Exorcists Never Die, issue number 4. This one is about greed. And it was kind of weird a little bit. Greed is like this massive dragon. There's treasures everywhere. But once it actually starts getting into the story, greed is basically going to absorb the exorcists into his treasure, kind of turn them into statues. And he does that by giving them everything that they want, and they're basically trapped in their own mind. Well, ELL, however you want to say it, what she wanted was like the prestige, the fame, the notoriety, and she's getting that in her vision. But then she also gets a glimpse of Sid's vision. And for those of you that are not reading it, Sid and Elle are exes. They're just having to work together in this situation. Sid never wanted any of that. He wanted a life with her. That was it. That was all he ever wanted, was a life with her. That kind of snaps her out of it, snaps him out of it. They basically decide that nobody can beat them as long as they're together, and they go after greed, take him down. What started out as kind of a weird little issue ended up turning into like this really like sad but sweet story. And in the end, they take down another sin. They take down another demon from hell. Actually, we'll just jump to here to give you all an idea of what we're looking like. So that's where they're fighting greed. Exorcists Never Die has been really good. I don't know why more people aren't picking up on this one. This one should wrap up in a couple more issues. I hope they get another arc. These have been some really good characters. Now, we're kind of at the point where some of them would do something like an honorable mention. I don't have an honorable mention. I've got a dishonorable mention. And that is Ultimate Invasion 1 and Ultimate Invasion 2. Last but not least, this is my throwback pick of the week. And the only way you're going to know what this throwback pick of the week is if you watch the live show from last night, from the time this gets uploaded. If you watch the live show, you'll find out what the throwback pick of the week is. Leave a comment down below and tell me what it is, and we'll see who actually watched the live stream. But once again, that's it. That's the pull list for the week. Hope everybody has a good weekend, and we will see y'all next week.